talking about before how it might be a thing we could package for med spas now where we like rebrand lobotomies.
Oh, right. Like you won't think of anything anymore.
Like
stress-free.
Relaxing sinus lymphatic drainage.
Right.
And you'll just never have a worry again.
No, scramble my brain. Isn't that right?
I think I would do it.
Okay, Crust, thank you so much for subscribing to Tier 1 for 12 months. Thank you so much. Hi,
Hello, hello. Welcome someplace new. I'm Nellie Jean.
I'm Amber Nelson. Do we hear like a wee, wee, wee in the thing?
I don't. Do you hear a wee, wee, wee?
Yes.
Uh-oh. Maybe it's from inside your head.
Maybe I got my brain scrambled a little too hard.
You got a little too deep, lobotomy. You gotta be, it's like you gotta get the right amount in there. You know, it's the perfect formula of the needle going in.
Because I've seen some of those lobotomy videos and they're all like, it's been scientifically done. And then it's just literally a screwdriver like shoved into a woman's head.
King, 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 king,
Wee,
king.
wee, wee.
Let's see what this does. Unfortunately, I think that's what a lot of medicine is.
Just trial and error.
Yeah.
I stopped taking birth control for a while, and please take birth control if you can and you need to, but I went to like a free clinic and they gave me this medicine and they're like, yeah, use it. Here, just take it. And then I started like passing out on the street and it was Yaz.
Oh, well, that was one of the bad ones, right?
That was one of the bad ones, that it literally killed people. So I'm a little traumatized from that.
No, yeah, for sure. We're not anti-birth control by any stretch,
No.
but I mean, medicine is deeply imperfect, and we see that over and over again. Doesn't mean all medicine's bad, but Yaz,
All medicine
all bad.
Let's go back to herbs.
What was Yaz? Was it a pill?
It was a pill, and I just felt. I remember I went to take a walk, and I laid on the ground of New York City because I couldn't stand up.
Oh God!
And then my friends at the
That's not
time,
good.
they're no longer my friends, but they were like, "Oh, that's just Amber being dramatic."
Jesus.
So I don't know.
They left you laying on the street in New York?
Like one of them, because it was like a birthday lunch. It was also my birthday, and they're like, "That's just her being dramatic on her birthday." So they went inside, and then one of my friends came out to like chat with me. But
They thought you were like wanting more attention on your birthday, so you laid
guess
on the
so.
ground in New York.
And you guys know me. You've known me for a long time. Like I love attention, but like that kind of attention,
Also in New York, that's not going to get you any attention. People just step over you.
they spit in your face and say, "Keep walking."
Yeah, you kind of like almost become more transparent and disappear if you are in need of help on the street.
Right.
People don't got the time for
We don't
it.
have the time, but I'm glad I'm out of New York City. You might get a disease, though. Thanks, Daniel Natcliffe. I might.
A disease from
I
what?
don't know. I'm riddled with worms, Natalie.
Birth control doesn't stop diseases. I mean, it can help some things, but that's not. We know this is not. That doesn't keep you from getting STIs, right?
No, yeah, birth control, it just keeps the no baby disease. Which I guess that is a disease if it's like something growing in your body. I don't know.
Yeah, it sure is. But it's just a disease that we love, we nurture and care for, and that's
right.
okay. We're all little diseases.
That's right.
What was Yaz specifically? Not to keep talking about Yazzing on here, but what was it specifically that was super bad about
I don't know. I don't forget why, but it was like strokes and heart attacks and like brain palpitations, I think. So that's fun. Just like medical term, I think it said it fucks you up real good. Yeah.
I wonder what the extra special ingredient was in it that made it
Rat
different.
poison, I guess.
They do just throw that in there sometimes. I mean, Botox is just botulism, really. So
It is?
yeah. What we do for beauty.
I guess I would like to get, maybe later on, my face chiseled.
With a how?
I don't know. What do they do?
I don't think you need it.
No, we'll figure it out as it goes. As
I
it
don't.
comes.
Don't. If anybody says that they have a chisel they can use on your face, do not allow them to.
Just some guy in a corner. It's like, I can chisel your face down.
I chisel down.
When I used to bartend in Hollywood, there was a plastic surgeon that would always come by and sus that he's drinking before he goes into surgery. And
Whatever makes his hands steady.
his hands steady. But he would just be he would like nag everybody and would point out what was wrong with them. And I hated him so much.
He sounds awesome. I'm sure he was at the bar not because his family hates him or anything. Yeah, I'm gonna say a thing that I don't think I'm supposed to say, but if you're a surgeon or a pilot or something where people's lives are at immediate risk, whatever you need to take, just take it.
Yeah?
You know, if you're like really good at something when you do a bunch of PCP, like who am I to judge?
Who am I? Smoke some crack and fly that airplane.
If it makes you a better pilot.
That's right. It's a pilot shortage, so come on.
Is there?
Sure. That's what they keep saying. I don't think you want brain palpitations. Yeah, Solid Scrump, I don't think I do. I don't know what that is.
Sounds like your brain's beating, like pulsating?
I guess so.
That seems bad.
That seems jawline contouring is a cosmetic procedure that aims to improve the shape and jawline and define the neck. It can involve surgical or non-surgical techniques, such as derma filters, Botox, or other treatments. The goal is to create a more balanced and symmetrical appearance and can include reducing jowls, excess fat, and horizontal neck bands. Thank you,
Like
Rach.
a face bot?
Yeah.
Just showed up and was like, you wanted surgery? Hello, I'm here. Would you like to pay me? You can just use
Yeah, I use one of these.
what is it called? The
is
scrapey
this?
things.
I'm in bed every night, lotioned up, scraping my jaw, like scraping the bottom of my feet, and it's so funny of like, you better not bring any boys over, and I'm like, who? Who's coming over for this?
Come on, you're beautifying.
That's right.
I do think self-care's okay. I think it's nice to do self-care.
Guisha. What's this?
Guisha? I don't know how to say that, but I know the word you are using. By the way, authorities arrested 14 people and rescued 10 victims, including a 16-year-old, during an undercover human trafficking sting at San Diego Comic-Con. Oh my God, I didn't hear that story.
At the Comic-Con?
Wow.
Trafficked?
That actually really checks out, unfortunately.
I've never been to Comic-Con. What's it like?
It's intense. I'm not saying people who like Comic-Con are creeps, but for kids who have an interest in that, it's a prime place for them to interact with adults who might not have good intentions. I'll say that. Wow, I have to look that up. I haven't seen that. I'm glad, I guess. That's good.
I don't like that at all. But I did see a video today of these women traveling alone at the airport, and they were stopped by security because they're like, why is this woman traveling alone? And she must be like sex trafficked. And this woman was like, I'm a tourist agent in my country. And they're like, yeah, why do you have so many ticks on your passport? Why do you have so many stamps? And she's like, because I'm a tourist agent. And they took her away to go and get questioned. And me, I love traveling alone as a woman, and I feel like because they were taking women that like weren't giving eye contact. They were just kind of looking at their phone, and like, it's suspicious. It's suspicious, y'all, because she's just looking at her phone. I'm like, if anybody ever took me in a room and was just like, you're obviously being trafficked, I'm like, I just want to go to San Diego.
This is an interesting article. I'll have to read it deeper into it, but yeah, that I love that 10 victims were recovered. That is good. And yeah, I want to learn more about that. I've told you before that I was flagged for traveling alone, right?
No.
This is like, I don't know, over 15 years ago maybe?
Really?
Because I used to travel back and forth across the country, like long term, when I was pursuing like jobs or auditions or whatever. And so I would be on the worst, cheapest flight and seat possible every time, and it'd be like one-way tickets, and I'd have really big bags. And apparently that, as a woman doing that, was enough that somebody in the flight TSA community, I guess, flagged me. So when I got off the plane from probably New York or Philly to Long Beach, there were police waiting for me off the plane.
Oh my God, you're special, Natalie.
I was like, me? You think I'm drug trafficking? You think I'm pretty enough? Yeah, and they were like, we have to search your bags, ma'am. And I was like, okay, like, go ahead. And I was like, there's going to be a vibrator in there, just FYI.
Oh, because I thought you were like hauling crack across the country or something?
Yeah, I think that I was being flagged as potentially like a drug mule.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they're doing that, but it's also like,
I ticked off a bunch of red flags, I guess.
I guess. Let us know in the chat if you've ever been pulled over because they thought that you were being trafficked or as a drug mule.
If I was a drug mule, I would have had more money probably. I was pretty broke.
Rage Drop says, my friend accidentally brought a knife in her carry-on, but no one in TSA caught it. Wow.
Yeah. Also, I had scissors, like pretty big scissors in my bag once, and the TSA person let me keep them being cool. And I was like, well, that is, I can't have the liquid, but you don't care if I have a blade? Because I just like, she's like, don't worry about it. I'm like,
Oh my God. Because it's scissors, because that could also be beauty enhancing.
sure, but like, that's not the thing to be cool about at the airport. I would have much preferred if like I accidentally brought a perfume that was expensive and they were like, you can't take that, and they'd be like, you know what, don't worry about it. A blade would make sense that they would have to take away from me.
Yeah.
But nope.
God, speaking of all that, Saddam Hussein, it came out what perfume he was wearing when he got assassinated or when he got killed, and I kind of want to get the Saddam Hussein perfume. They said it smells very floral and forward in leadership. Like it.
Forward in leadership.
Yeah.
Just smells like old cum.
I want it.
Is it a brand?
It's something he was like had, and this guy held it up on TikTok, of course. Who knows if it's real? But it was like this brown liquid in a glass bottle, and he's like, "This is what Saddam Hussein was wearing when he was assassinated." I'm not a perfume girly, but now I'm like, I think I gotta get that perfume.
I bet you it's Paris Hilton's scent.
Let me look this up. Saddam Hussein perfume.
How about bees? Are you coming to Australia, Natalie? I am, and actually that's a good reminder that next Wednesday I will be with Us Podcast in Australia, and so next week will be in Amber Live, I believe.
I
Are you doing
so.
that? Did I just say that and put you in, force you into it?
Prachin Attar Oud Oil. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Look that up. Get it, everybody.
No.
Oh, the Queen Nash. Thank you so much for gifting all these subs. So yeah.
Are you going to do Amber Live next week? And
Yes,
if
yes,
so,
I am.
are
Yes, I
you
am.
going to be wearing that scent?
I should get it Amazon delivered.
I don't know if Amazon has
I
it,
don't think they would. I don't think so.
but at the top here, did you guys see just right before we started streaming, Ballerina Farm responded to the backlash?
What'd she say?
Nothing like too shocking. I'm certain she felt very humiliated by it, and I'm not saying that. I think most people are agreeing that Ballerina Farm is very likely happy and obviously adores her children and is happy to have the children. I don't think that's really the thing that people are kind of taking a bit of issue with. It's more about like the controlling nature of the things they discussed openly, like maybe her not really seeing things that her husband did that she's been conditioned to accept as normal are normal. They're not necessarily normal. But if you guys check, she just posted on TikTok. I can say this pretty confidently. It's definitely a pre-typed out script, which unfortunately, the people who are being the most extreme about it are just going, oh, he wrote this for her. I don't think necessarily that's true, in my opinion. But if you guys don't know who Ballerina Farm is, by the way, she's a Mormon family influencer who has made a lot of news. For one thing, she was in a beauty pageant 5 days after she gave a natural home birth.
Oh, I think it's 2 weeks.
Oh, was it? Oh, it was 5 days after. I'm sorry. In the article, it's 5 days. She was deciding whether or not she could do it because she was going to have to start training.
And she was still bleeding on the chair, holding a baby while she was getting her hair sprayed.
So that was a thing. And then, like to me, that's almost more like at least she's doing a thing she wants to do.
Oh, Queen Tash also gifted way more subs. I'm so sorry to
Oh, no. Queen
interrupt.
Tash, thank you so much for gifting these 10 subs.
Wow.
Woo! Okay.
Wow. And if you're listening to this on the audio instead of the visual, because we do this stream every Wednesday, we are coming back very soon.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We are in recording. We're getting stuff recorded now. We're a little bit behind. We'll probably get them posted sooner than later, but it'll be a few more weeks at the very least. But we are recording them and getting that season going, and I'm really happy with what we've gotten so far.
I am too.
Yeah. Ballerina Farm. So she was at least in the beauty pageant thing. It seemed like a thing she wanted to do for herself, which it seems insane, but like I'm not in that world, so what do I know? And a lot of the backlash of people being like, are you being controlled by your husband? Because this big article came out in the Times, which is a British not magazine. Maybe it is. It's only online, I think. But
Publication.
she basically, the journalist observed them as a family, even though she was trying to interview the wife, and she couldn't get her separated from her husband and the kids at all, even though this woman traveled from presumably the UK to see her. And the way that she described the experience in the journalism, I think, was done really well. But the people who are sort of like pushing back against the article are saying, well, she had an agenda, like she hates families and she hates children. And what does she know?
There's also a lot of women pushing back. I've seen a lot of other reviews of it. She wanted to come down and do this thing anyway. This just sort of childless, angry woman. I would love to be a ballerina farm. And it's...
Right. And there...
If you want to, but also I noticed the women that's saying that they would love it, they also work a bunch of jobs. So they're taken aback by the fantasy of it. Like, they just see her working on the farm. That's hard work to work on a farm, to milk the cows, raise the chickens, get the goats.
And they don't really have a lot of help. The husband specifically doesn't. He said that he doesn't want ranch hands or nannies. They won't do that. Which is not to say she's not happy. I hope that she is. But the pushback, I think, is not really registering what people are concerned about, because it is a lot of responses being like, they're just jealous. They hate having families on being shown, and they think motherhood that's not feminism. And it's like, I think that people, in general, I saw mostly really reasonable concern about her, which is to say she probably loves being a mother, and families are great, and raising families is awesome. Nobody that I saw is saying disgusting. She should be a jazz artist and smoking crack on the streets of New York City. I don't think that's the case. It's more that when somebody like her is raised inside of a religion and a community that tells her to not really make her own decisions as part of her faith, that there can be a little bit of conflict in there as far as like ethical things and the safety of the wife and the kids. I'm not saying he's doing anything to them, but I think you could say maybe both sides of the spectrum pushed it really, really far. I don't think she needs saved. We obviously don't need to have a GoFundMe started for getting tickets to Greece, which some people were saying that's insane. She's very wealthy. But she's also, there's also people with genuine concerns that aren't just like, oh, you just hate freedom and you hate wives and you hate cows or whatever.
No. Jessica has 8 nickels, says, I did that whole devoted mother stay-at-home thing for 10 years until I had a mental breakdown and found out that no one was there for me when I needed them. It is absolutely about the subjugation and control and isolation of women so they have no one to rely on. I'm happy for her, but I'm sad for her too.
I think that's really well put, because I think that there's many beautiful things about her life, and I do think she probably loves a lot of those things. And she's just an example of so many people in that situation, but we're using her because she's one of the most famous, popular homesteader. She says she doesn't identify with the trad wife label, but she is living that life generally.
And it's no coincidence that the trad wife movement is coming up when there is another political election, and when the Project 2025 is being spoken about so much. And
well, now that's been changed to what, Project 47 or whatever?
They're just trying to hide it, masquerade.
Sorry, there was a little tech difficulty back there.
But yeah, it's basically people telling young women to, don't pursue your own. If you want to have a kid and that's your dream, that's beautiful. But you should have some sort of backup plan. That's what our grandmothers wanted. That's what my mother and my grandmother told me. You have to have some kind of education you can rely on. If you go out of the workforce for 10, 15 years,
right,
and then try to get back in it, good luck.
I think the other thing too, it is called Project 47 now. It looks like
Agenda 47.
Agenda 47 something. Project 47 Smokehouse. Ooh, I think that was different. That's a different thing. Yeah, and I do think maybe the other alarming thing, at least in my mind, is that even if you think that this journalist had an agenda, she was just reporting their direct words, and in those direct words, it was said that this Juilliard ballerina, which is one of the hardest. That's not like a hobby.
No.
It's like you get to the top level in your art, getting into this insanely hard to get into school.
It's like 12 people that were in her class.
And it's this
All the
huge,
ballerinas?
you have to be so gifted for that. And the fact that her husband gave her an ultimatum saying, we have to get married immediately or I'm leaving you, seems fucked up to me, especially because she could have had a whole, like, even if she had a tiny short dance career, she had 5 years of a career, she would have still been in her 20s and could have had a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
But he said absolutely not, because in my opinion, he felt like he would lose the control of her.
He also probably felt threatened because she's a young, beautiful powerhouse. And he's like, no, we have to take this butterfly and cage her.
A little bit. And I'm not saying she didn't want this life. She probably did, especially as an LDS person, she probably did want a huge family and all of those things. But I know she also wanted to be a dancer and to have a partner. You never want to have a partner in any circumstance be like, give up your shit or I'm going, unless your shit is like meth or something. You know what I mean?
Right. And speaking of children, there's a lot of places in America where abortion is very strictly regulated, if not outlawed. And there are places you can go, and there's baby boxes where if you gave birth, you can put the baby in the box. A lot of firehouses have them. And I know one of my roommates works in the medical field, and every now and then they have these meetings, these sort of groups where they get together and say, hey, remember you're dealing with people here. And also there's certain language you should use in the protocol just to kind of like keep everybody up to date. And I have a video, if you want.
No, you got it.
I have a video where a woman is in the medical field and she is discussing what I believe to be a lot of older men, and it seems like they're firefighters, in this room, and asking them, what do you do when a young girl comes and drops off a baby?
And so even in the best intentions of saying those words, you're going to come off wrong. So, but there's one question every parent that walks in here and hands you a child, every mother that walks in should be asked.
When was birth?
Huh?
Birth of the child, when?
You could ask that. That's not what I'm looking for, though.
Can you ask her name?
You can. I mean,
She doesn't have to give it. But.
No. I probably would stay away from asking the name, only because she might feel obligated to give it to you. And I would just, is there any information you want to give? Identifying information is probably how I would word it. If she says no, then that's fine. Still, there's one question though.
You need medical assistance?
You guys talked at the same time.
Go ahead.
She looks so annoyed.
Do you need medical care? Yep. Boom. So we know that every one of our babies that have come through our box was not born in a hospital but one. These women are giving birth outside of hospitals. We want to make sure we're taking care of mom also. So once
they got there. Somebody got there.
It took a while, but again, that's why it's important to have these meetings so you can say, hey, just remember, like, don't ask, hey, what's your name? That's kind of a breach of privacy. But to also remember, hey, are you okay? Which no one see. It took them a few minutes to get to that, but at least they did.
Well, I think that's also especially important because we're going to be talking about family values a lot on this episode. And one of and questioning what they are, like what exactly are family values, because those words get thrown around a lot, especially during elections.
Right.
And people of a certain stripe love to use the term family values, and I question what that means to them. But I think a lot of us would agree that like humane treatment should be a concern for vulnerable people and kids and stuff like that.
Also for everybody, because the worse you treat women, the worse the whole area is. So if you treat women as like breeding fodder, congratulations, you live in a third world country. Even if it's in America. Some of the worst dilapidated places I've been to where they have literal chains full of shit are also some of the first places that took away women's rights to choose, that took away education, that really devalued
in America.
girls. And this is in America. And I say third world meaning like sort of bigger than this, not other whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Say in a wealthy country.
In a wealthy country, it
Right.
is essentially third world because you just treated. Who do you think raises the kids? Who do you think gets the kids to church on time and puts clothes on them? Often, when the mom dies in a family, they stop going to church.
Yeah, that's true. The only family values I want to talk about is the Addams Family. I agree. I love that movie, El Condor Pasa 69. Both of them, but I have a soft spot in my heart for Debbie, you know?
Oh, the blonde.
Yeah.
That would be a great lesbian costume for Debbie and Morticia.
I mean, that would be great. Henry and I
Yeah.
have talked about doing Debbie and Fester in their like honeymoon clothes. Would be a fun outfit.
that'd be great.
Fun costume. Anyway, I think that it's really interesting you bring up those boxes because I think people don't realize that you can do that. And the kids who are getting pregnant and trying to hide it, and we're having this repeatedly happen where they're giving birth by themselves and then panicking and so scared they're going to be judged and like, you know, exiled from either their relationship or their family or whatever, that they're leaving the babies. Like there's one that's happening right now. I don't want to name the mom. She's already, you know, it's bad, but she left a baby in a dumpster. And there's also a very famous one where the teenager gave birth inside of the hospital and sorry guys, but then took the baby and immediately threw it in the garbage in the hospital because she was there with her mom who seemed very not maybe super happy if she was pregnant. And so she hid the pregnancy the entire time and said she was just having like back pain and then had a baby and not in the bathroom.
These girls are scared. Also, yes, swank flow, the correct sociological term is emerging nations.
Emerging nation.
Not
yeah.
yeah, it felt weird saying third world. I didn't know how to
That's what we
explain
were
it.
told as kids. That's what it was called around us growing
Right,
up. which
emerging
is-
nations. So there are emerging nations within a very powerful nation that
Right.
are not up to par.
which we're supposed to be this like very rich country, and we have so much, you know, money disparity and poverty, and there's things that should in a wealthy country not be an issue that are. But with the baby boxes, there are a bunch of safe harbors where you can leave if you have a baby and you don't know what to do. You can leave the baby, and you won't face any like criminal charges. You can kind of just walk away. And so I think in that video that you played, she was talking to other medical professionals, and basically they were immediately not, I guess, because that's what she was reteaching them things that maybe they weren't thinking about, which is like if somebody in a vulnerable position brings a baby to the hospital to leave, don't ask them about like, what are you doing? What's your name? Where are you from? Just check if they're okay.
Are you okay?
Are you in danger? Are you medically safe? Are you safe right now with people? You know, things like that. Maybe ask that, but don't question, you know, where did this come? You know,
What's
things
your name?
about
Who are you? How'd you
Right.
how'd you do this? Are you a whore? You know, that's just gonna. Oh yeah, then you're gonna want to put it somewhere else that's not safe for this new baby in the world because you're scared, and then now you get charged with murder charges.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like that. You can also. Is it true that any fire station actually you can drop your baby off?
Language changes, so thank you for being open to learning. Thank you, Weed Wife. I did learn something new today. Emerging countries. I'm watching this from Alabama. We have 2 habitable cities and a lot of shit out here. Twinkle twat. Alabama's, that can be nice. There's a few. There's Mobile. I like Mobile, Alabama.
Greenbow, Alabama.
Greenbow,
I don't know.
Alabama.
Is that a real place or is that just in Forrest Gump?
I think it's a real place.
Anybody know? Is Greenbow real?
Yeah, can you?
See,
At a firehouse?
baby safe surrender program. I'm just looking at Los Angeles here. Let's see. In California, safely surrender baby site. So there's a whole, you can just go to a website.
So can I put myself in a baby box? I'm 32. Yes.
I mean, I say give it a try.
Give it a trial.
It says, okay, so in California, it says you have up to 3 days after birth to surrender a baby with no questions asked.
I'm sorry. This is crazy.
What?
I don't know.
What?
just 3. I'm imagining just like day 2 of being like, nah, and then just
I think it's probably people in very precarious
very
situations.
bad. And not like, I'm not blaming them, but just how.
Can you imagine what like the situation they would be in that they would have to decide at that point to do it?
Yes, horrible.
Horrible. You can go to a hospital or fire station with a safe surrender logo on it and give the baby to any staff member. And then oh wow, and it says also here on this government site for California, staff will give you and the baby matching ID bracelets to help you reconnect with the baby if you change your mind.
Oh, a PA is 21 days.
Okay. Okay, so I guess it's state by state. How long do I have to change my mind? You have 14 days from the date you give up the baby to regain custody. Wow. I actually think that's
a
good.
lot going on.
It's
Like,
good though. It's
the
good.
mom- I mean, it's good, but
If people aren't given sex education and they end up in these situations and there's not really any resources, this is much preferable than, not doing something to hurt the kid once the kid's
Yeah.
already born. So yeah, it's really interesting. So what's it called? Safe surrender logo. Wow. All right. That's good to know, guys. Why not?
right.
It doesn't hurt to have that information.
that's actually nice because they might be too scared or unable to take care of it in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good thing, but it's just upsetting that this has to happen
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to education and early onset protection.
Yeah. That would be
That'd be better.
that'd be cool. That's not really happening in a lot of places, unfortunately. I agree. Maybe it could be more days. Sorry, streams to. I think you mean to leave to safely leave the baby without repercussions.
Yeah, what
but-
happens on day 4 when you're like, no, I can't. Like, my husband freaked out. He's whatever. I have to go drop it off. Like, do I face criminal charges?
I don't. I think that if you might, maybe if you don't take it to like, I don't know. Actually, I don't want to speak out my ass. Can you just take your child after that? Do you need to take them to an adoption place?
Maybe. Rage Drop
Hospital?
says, I know someone in high school who used a Ziploc bag as a condom.
Oh,
we
okay.
go.
I thought you were actually going to say something different.
Oh, no. Sorry.
That sounds painful. That doesn't sound comfortable for anyone.
Education. Even my conservative mother she was like, babies do not come from storks. Babies come from intercourse when the sperm and the egg match. Like, even like just basic knowledge. And it helped me steer clear of that. It was a little helpful.
Yeah.
Because some girls just didn't know. And then they were pregnant. And then it was like, okay, bye, Rihanna. I'll see you in 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And the many people who we watch and listen to and speak with who grow up in high control situations genuinely don't know about sex even in high school. Like, they don't really know what it is or how it's happening. And that's really, really dangerous. So, going along the lines of those kind of family values, because that's a very extremist take on protecting the children by keeping them in the dark about things that could protect them from stuff. And
Right.
the way that we maybe deal with, safe sex and things like, well, how teenagers are trying to prevent teenagers from having sex, which doesn't work. Abstinence only training does not work
No.
statistically. And that goes along with a lot of people who also do not believe in abortion or having, reproductive rights. for
Unless their
women.
girlfriend gets pregnant.
Oh, yes, we will talk about that. I don't know if you guys saw it all. We're not going to harp too long on JD Vance because, do we really need to? He's kind of just sticking the old stick in the spike of his own bike there. It's pretty fun.
The Weed Wife says you can face neglect and abandonment charges if you don't follow the proper protocol for surrendering your parental rights. And I'm, if I had a baby 5 days ago, I'm not following proper protocol. I don't know up from down.
Yeah.
Probably have depression.
I do understand, though, at a certain point when that child starts to gain like cognitive understanding and stuff, like you can't then just be like, actually here.
A lot of people are bringing up the Great Depression because a lot of people abandoned and sold their children during that. And that was, but the boomer parents, they have a lot of trauma from that.
The silent era, yeah. That picture, by every account I've ever seen, that very famous one, is a real picture of that woman selling her children. I don't think it's ever been debunked. I'm talking about with the 4 kids sitting on the, and the mom like hiding her face. That's allegedly real.
I know my mom was given away for maybe like a few weeks to almost a few months because her parents couldn't afford her anymore.
Your mom?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And so, that comes out in certain ways in its own way, but her parents, her dad was a preacher and her mom was a stay-at-home wife, and they only had a certain amount of funds. So she was pretty young. That was really one of her early memories, is like going to this other house.
Do you, if it's too, you don't have to tell too much, but was it just a friend, or would she go to like a home?
I don't know.
Wow.
She doesn't really like to talk about it, but I think this person is trying her best.
Sure. I think that's all we can hope for any of us, really. Well, with our old buddy JD, I think his name's James Dave. It's like, it's like another Jim Bob. It's a similar combination of white Christian names. Jason Donald, what's his name? But anyway, JD Vance is, as you probably know, is right now the vice president candidate for, I guess you call him a candidate. Donald Trump has announced him as VP, although now it's seeming like he doesn't want it anymore because he's polling so badly.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, if he can just be like,
No.
psych, just kidding.
I think Trump can kind of do whatever he wants.
That's true.
I think
He can
he's sort
kinda
of
just
made
do
that
it.
known. But yeah, JD Vance, he's not likable or hip.
No, he sucks. He really
all.
sucks. Fruit Brute, I guess my stepmom was given, quote unquote, to her first husband at 15 because her parents couldn't afford to keep her with him. I'm so sorry to hear that. And that's actually really common, why a lot of child marriages happen, because the parents don't know what else to do. Like,
Yeah.
they put on the burden of whatever struggles they're going through on that kid and make the kid suffer the consequences of that. And that really sucks. It's garbage, actually. And, people like Unchained at Last are actually taking this to legal places where that's not going to be legal anymore. They're helping change state laws, so more and more states are becoming 18 only, no exceptions for marriage, because there are still 41 states where you can marry a child.
That's right. And California has no legal age lower limit.
No.
And also, the mom thing happened in Louisiana. It didn't happen in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Yeah, because they weren't from Saudi Arabia. They were living there when you were born.
That's right.
Yeah. So with JD Vance, obviously, he's getting a lot of heat for a lot of things he's saying because they're stupid and silly.
Yeah.
But did you guys know that he, on his website, had a very intense anti-choice message on his, the things that he stood for, and up until I think just a couple days ago, and it just was scrubbed. Did you know that happened?
I didn't know that. He just took it off because he was pretty pro, anti-choice.
Well, I don't even know if he was before he started running for Ohio stuff, but he then became very staunchly. So this was the statement that was on his website until I think just a couple days ago. I think we have yeah, there we go. Oh, well, there's that. And then we got here, yes. So on the screen, you can see it. I'm 100% pro-life and believe that abortion has turned our society into a place where we see children as an inconvenience to be thrown away rather than a blessing to be nurtured. Eliminating abortion is first and foremost about protecting the unborn, but also about making our society more pro-child and pro-family. The historic Dobbs decision puts this new era of society into motion when the priorities, blah, 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 blah. So it's all just like gobbledygook about how it's about the kids and the family and all that.
I mean, pro-family is really waiting till you're both ready and being secure in yourselves and wanting to have kids. That's great. But just having kids just because you don't know what sex is or what contraception is, and oh my God, now I have all these kids and how do I give them away on these baby boxes and sell them at 15? That's not pro-family.
Right. And I think most people are seeing through this, including conservative women, were very angry about the things he said, because when you're just making these blanket statements about you hate family or you hate kids, or you're like, I'm actually pro-family because I don't believe women should have rights over their bodies, that kind of thing, it doesn't actually translate into healthier, productive families. It doesn't show that you care about families. It shows that you care about people getting pregnant and the babies being born, but not anything about if the families are okay. Are the parents able to care for the children? Are the children safe? Do they have medicine? Do they have a safe place to sleep? None of that stuff matters. just the idea of being like pro-family is such a cop-out. It is such a cop-out to say that just because you have kids or because you want to kind of try to platform yourself on this idea. It's just such a cop-out.
And then demonizing women who don't have children, calling them like smirky, like cat ladies.
It's just so silly, especially with the kind of guy always gets me too. And I say guy because most of the time women are growing up more as caregivers than guys are, but some guys do grow up. But, you know, we all, as young women, helped raise our siblings, taught kids. You know, I raised kids all my entire childhood and my teenage years and was responsible for children and, like, love kids. But guys who, like, talk like this, they don't know anything about protecting and raising kids. They just raw dogged a lady. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he couldn't be a good dad, but
he might be. I really don't know. But it's just I don't like demonizing a whole subset of people.
Well, it's just so lazy.
It's just lazy.
It's just such a lazy thing. But the reason I was actually bringing this up was because I don't know if you guys listened to one of our older episodes on the Proper podcast, but we did a series on pro-life, quote unquote, politicians who were then found to have paid for and provided abortions to people. You're not going to believe it. Isn't that crazy? And there was a couple that I missed, including this guy whose name is Richard Holtorf. He was actually up running against Lauren Boebert. So just a race to be avoided at all costs. He lost, but he's still a, he is on the Colorado House of Representatives. And he he wants to, you know, eliminate the woman's right to choose. He's very open about it. But I don't know. Let's just maybe watch this clip of him from earlier this year.
If abortion was the best choice for your girlfriend, why try to deny that choice to other women?
So let me give you some context about that situation, because I'm a pro-life Catholic, and I believe everyone should choose life. Now, if you listen to my presentation on the House floor, did you listen to it?
I did, in fact. I just quoted from it.
Okay, so what was the major theme, and what did I repeat probably 20 times? Hold on, let me help you.
Oh, I thought you were asking me a question.
No, go ahead.
In fairness, your logic was a bit scattered in that speech. What I'm asking you about is the fact that you said that you respected your girlfriend's right to an abortion and then gave her money to help her through an important time to live her best life.
You did exactly what I did.
But yet you've tried to deny that to other women. And I'm asking, why is an abortion good for your girlfriend, bad for other women? That's my question. Simple question.
Okay. She had an abortion. Was that her choice? Yes. Did she have that right? Yes. Was it my choice, Kyle? No.
Why do you seek to deny the choice that you said was best for your girlfriend's life?
Let me finish explaining.
Why do you seek to deny it to other women?
I don't.
You have voted to restrict abortion access as well.
And I have. And I'm a pro-life person. I think you should try to choose life every time. But there are exceptions. And there are times when you need abortion. Abortion is a medical procedure.
Is one of the exceptions when Richard Holtorf's the father?
No, it is not. It's not about me. Don't personalize it and make it about me. It's not.
You told the story on the House floor.
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's a story.
Okay.
He's
That's
disgusting.
not that important. What's more important is the policy.
But he gave her money. Why was he like, that's not my choice?
Well, I really wish that the question would have been asked in the moment. So are you saying that you wish in that moment you could have forced her through that pregnancy? You're saying that woman, what you wish would have happened was that you would have been able to like hold her down and make her have the baby.
Right.
Which I think he's full of shit. I think he was extremely happy that she had an abortion. I think that I would love to hear this woman, I mean, she's not a public figure as far as I know, but I would love to hear her take on this whole situation, like what happened at that time. But yeah, he basically was, I love that he was saying, well, let me tell you about the situation, and then proceeds to tell an extremely normal situation that most people go through when they're deciding on what's going to happen with their
Right.
bodies. Let me tell you, it was me, and I'm a special little boy. I don't know if you knew that.
That's right.
Do you want to call me mommy?
I have a family member. He's a guy that says women, no abortion, no matter what. Even if the mother's life is in danger, even if the baby is born, it will die immediately outside the womb. And he says, because I don't have a choice whether or not the baby could be born and I would have to pay child support or something. And I said, so then you want to make it a worse choice all the time? Then you want to make sure you never have a choice, that the baby's always born. And he was like, yeah, just don't have sex. Just don't have sex. And I was like, yeah, then I guess just don't have sex. You're not the one that has to have their spinal cord broken.
But also, like,
You're not.
Actually, I don't want to go too deep if you don't want
No.
to say too much about him. But wasn't he also like, but I'm not going to wear condoms or something?
Yeah, he also didn't want to wear a condom. And I was like, well, then just wear a condom. If you don't agree with abortion, just wear a condom. He's like, nah, that's not what I want to do. So there was just it just seemed like for him, it was like the pain of it. Like he wanted women to suffer and he wanted to have a good time.
Right.
Because he doesn't get any kind of choice, then he wants to make it bad all the time. So then you'll always have to have a baby now.
I do like if you want to defend your pro-choice or your pro-life stance while having paid for an abortion, you just need a piece of paper and a pen, just scribble on it furiously. Did you see like how much he was sweating while that guy was just like grilling him, and he's just like, I'm taking notes.
No.
It says help, help, help on the paper.
I would say just don't sleep with these men. Like, have a questionnaire, and if they're like very anti-choice and like very pro-birth, then just don't have sex with them.
Yeah.
That's it. Not even a condom.
Another guy too I wanted to bring up who I didn't catch on the episode that we did about this on the podcast is this guy named Scott Lloyd. If you want to pull that Vice article up. So this was a guy who worked for the Trump administration at the border. He was somebody who was in charge of like really, really vulnerable people coming to the border, many of them young or children, many of them pregnant, desperate for any sort of help they could receive. And he was denying abortions to women and girls who were asking for them at the border. And he was doing to the point where he, where's that clip I found of what he said? So he would essentially make them stay in the shelter instead of letting them leave until they agreed to not have an abortion, even though it was legal at the time where they were coming in the country. And so the ACLU was kind of covering him and being like, this guy's doing some really fucked up stuff. The little clip I have from the ACLU is Scott Lloyd spent his time at ORR cruelly flouting the agency's stated goal of serving as a safe haven instead of imposing his anti-abortion views on young women in his care. He abused his position of power to try to coerce pregnant minors to carry unwanted pregnancies to term by trying to prevent those who wished to pursue their constitutional right to abortion from leaving the shelter. The damage Scott Lloyd inflicted on the people he was charged to protect and the agency itself will not be easily erased. So that's horrible to do in the first place, but I think we should also add the caveat that he himself paid for an abortion to his girlfriend when he was younger.
I mean, if you hate abortions, get a vasectomy. Like, if you don't, I don't understand.
Right. So essentially he was confronted about having paid for an abortion, and he says, and this is from the Vice article, in an essay, Lloyd writes that the woman's choice to have the abortion went against his personal beliefs and that he tried to convince her to carry the pregnancy to term and put the child up for adoption. The day of the woman's appointment, Lloyd remembers picking her up with the belief that he could still persuade her to not go through with the abortion. So he drove her and paid for it. And he's saying, well, I didn't want her to do it and I didn't want her to have that choice and I couldn't do anything about it. But I think something to note in that statement is that when he got her to take her to the clinic, he tried to convince her to put the baby up for adoption. It wasn't that he was saying, I want to like love and nurture this child. Would you consider carrying this to term, because this is like my heart and soul, and I'd love to be able to be there to care for this. He was asking her to carry the baby for 9 months, rip her body apart so that he could go to heaven, is what it seems like. Essentially saying to her, like, you know, like this is gonna rip your asshole apart, and you know it's gonna like mess you up mentally and emotionally to like go through all this, but like if you could just do me a solid, if I can just, I'm trying really hard to get into like the Delta Sky Lounge of heaven, and if you could just like do that for me and be like really sick. I know I raw dogged in you and I like just like emptied out inside of you, but
also your taint rips open.
Yeah,
from your vagina to your butthole, that's gonna rip open.
So his moral high ground, his family values are saying, I don't want to care for this child, and I don't want you to have an abortion. I want you to carry this baby, go through the emotions of all of this, and then give it up at the end. I don't want to know the baby. I just want to make sure me and God are like, you know, like I have like...
So selfish. What a selfish little shit. I want to come in you, and I want to destroy your life, and I want to go to heaven.
Mm-hmm. And then he was preventing people from getting abortions who were asking for it. Children, girls, little girls who were coming to the border pregnant, asking for an abortion. And he was like, you can't leave the shelter. And so he lost his job.
But I thought that they were mad about the border babies, like the babies being born on American soil that can like now have American citizenship.
It's fascinating. It is like actually a really interesting study. I would wonder where that split comes, because you're right. Like there are some people, there's been this issue on the border on both sides. People who have been forcing abortions on young kids and young women who are coming to the border, and then people like him who are saying no, even if you would like one. And it is two sides of the same coin. It's just like about controlling their bodies, but it is interesting, like what his mental, like his agenda is compared to somebody who, you know, ultimately is probably doing it for like racist reasons and being like gross in that way, where he, I guess, is just being like, well, this will make up for the other one. I can still be in like, you know, I'll be in first class up there now that I'm doing the Lord's work at the border, by denying people the things that they would like to have happen to their body.
And I guess heaven is just full of assholes, right?
Yeah, I think so.
We have 5 minutes, and I think because we have Tears of a Clown next, make sure to stick around. Do you have a funny video?
Yeah, I would like to talk. I wanted to bring up a girl who died, and
we should not do the funny video. We should not do the funny video.
Sorry, I'm not laughing about the girl dying. Not laughing about the girl dying. I would like us to do a funny video. I'm going to bring up Naomi Wood. I swear to God, bringing her up. It's just a story that I'd really like to cover. It's about the troubled teen industry, but also that is something that we can talk about another time. I talk about the troubled teen industry a lot, and there is also a new HBO Max series about that called, I think, Teen Torture Inc., I think is what it's called, and also one called The Program on Netflix. So if you want to get more information about those, go check those out, and then we'll get to that. Not next week, but the following week, because next week will be, I believe, Amber Live.
That's right. Tune in.
Yeah. So let's do a video, because we need to cleanse to go to.
Okay, I think this is kind of funny. But I don't know. You guys let me know.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
I don't ever know what we're about to watch. So.
Giving back to the homeless population. Excuse me, sir. Are you homeless?
Nah, man. I ain't homeless. Why you run up on me like this, motherfucker?
You look homeless.
Man, fuck you.
Well, I'm gonna make your day today. I bought you a 350-pound car capacity card for your homelessness needs.
Fuck this cot and fuck you.
You're supposed to say thank you so much, sir.
Man, fuck.
Oh, no. See, I wanted that guy to get punched in the face.
I know. So he tried to be like a Mr. Beast, but the guy was not homeless. And he was like, fuck this cart and fuck
that
you.
That guy who was doing the video is a prick. Fuck that guy. Man, see, that would have only been a cute video if that dude got slapped straight across the face.
Right.
All right. Well. We like
subs. I should have picked a better video. Yeah, that guy he was not good.
No, fuck that stupid
Yeah, fuck
asshole.
that guy.
That made me more mad, actually.
You know what? I'll do a better time making videos next time.
Sub thanks. Thank you guys so much. Demon Lemur Nick, Kate Crust, Redditush Prop, The Queen Tash, Lizzie Poppy Seed, Vino _ and _ Porscopino, Stupidly Brutal, Juturna, P4 Ragon Fan. How about Bees gifted a sub? Vino and Porscopino gifted 2 subs. Queen Tash gifted 15 subs.
Wow, that's incredible.
Thank you guys so very, very much for being here. I will be back in 2 weeks, and Amber will be Amber living, and also you're doing Tears this eve, right?
That's right,
What is the ranking?
Video game characters.
Of kissability?
Of kissability.
You can't do Spyro. Spyro's a baby.
No. We had a whole conversation about what is the age of the
characters.
Like is Pikachu of legal age? You know what I mean? Like that. Yes, and by the way, that video was staged. It was staged for like a prank, just for.
No, I know it's
now
fine.
I feel really bad. I showed it. Okay.
That's okay. I believe in you.
All right. Stick around.
Bye.